Welcome to the show. Today, we're diving into something that looks like virtue on the outside, but feels a lot like a prison on the inside. It's called white-knuckling.
Society loves it. Churches sometimes put a gold star on it, but make no mistake, it is bondage. We're talking about the respectable addiction, where you swap the bottle for the broom, the pill for the overtime clock, the high for the hustle.
So you look like you're winning, but you're still running from the quiet room. Today, we're blowing the doors off that illusion based on some really insightful work by John Eldredge, whose writing often cuts right to the heart of things.
Absolutely. Let's start with the science, because the brain's not shy about telling us what's up. When someone ditches their substance of choice, be it alcohol, drugs, or whatever else, their brain doesn't just high-five itself and say, "Job done."
No, the internal recorder just keeps playing. All that trauma, the pain, the gaping emptiness, still right there. And the brain, bless its little cotton socks, is still screaming for dopamine and control. Since it can't get it from the old chemical, it finds a new way to numb out: action.
This is textbook addiction transfer. The obsession just slides from the bottle to the work, the obsessive cleaning, the relentless money-making, the perfectly choreographed routine. It is the exact same brain chemistry at play.
You're not cleaning the truck because the truck is dirty. You're frantically trying to scrub your own amygdala. The nervous system is stuck in perpetual fight or flight, and the only way to feel remotely in control is to keep moving.
That's why counting days and getting those chips feels so monumental. It's not just a celebration, it's still tethering your entire identity to the old problem. I have 90 days clean sounds fantastic, but if your whole sense of self revolves around not using, you're still defined by the addiction.
It's not freedom. It's just a different cage, maybe with slightly nicer wallpaper. The brain is this 24/7 tape recorder. The chemical vanishes, but the tape of old pain keeps spinning. So you swap the bottle for the broom, the pill for the overtime, the high for the hustle. You're not healed, you've just been rerouted.
The energy has to go somewhere, and you're just flinging it at work, at money, at routines, anything to keep the quiet room from showing up and screaming at you.
Now here's the kicker, the part most people completely miss. Addiction isn't just a brain glitch. Eldredge argues that addiction is a spirit. The Bible calls it a stronghold. And a stronghold isn't just a slightly inconvenient bad habit.
It's a fortified wall you erect to shield yourself from pain. But when that particular stronghold is addiction, it's like a demonic spirit that just shapeshifts to maintain its control. It demands to be fed. When you remove the alcohol, the spirit doesn't pack its bags and leave quietly. It transfers.
It slithers into work, into making money, into those obsessive routines, into cleaning everything until it gleams, anything that provides that delicious illusion of control. This spirit sinks its claws in and starts opening portals.
Every time you place your identity into something above God, your job, your income, your flawless schedule, that thing becomes an idol. And idols, my friend, open portals. The spirit then moves into the idol, and suddenly you're completely blind to it. You're stuck in this mind-numbing, repetitive loop of false happiness.
You know you're miserable, but you're trapped. You're white-knuckling it because this spirit has utterly convinced you that if you stop moving, the pain will simply swallow you whole.
That's precisely why the struggles and cravings don't just vanish. The spirit is still there, demanding worship. It just changed outfits. You traded the bottle for the broom, but the stronghold remains the same. You're still serving it, still giving it your life, living for something other than God.
Think of Jesus' parable in Matthew 12 about the empty house. When an unclean spirit leaves, it wanders, then comes back with 7 worse spirits if the house is empty. White-knuckling is essentially leaving that house empty and then filling it with work, money, routines, and performance. The spirit returns even stronger because the house was never surrendered to the king.
The only way that spirit truly leaves for good is when you give the house to God completely. Surrender isn't a half measure, it's total. You have to be willing to give God your entire life and live for Him. That's when genuine healing happens. God takes the struggle away when you surrender, not when you manage harder or white-knuckle.
Which brings us to the crux: management versus surrender.
White-knuckling is pure management. It's gripping the steering wheel so hard your hands cramp, trying desperately to swerve around every single pothole. It's utterly exhausting because it relies 100% on human willpower, and we all know human willpower has a breaking point.
You can count days, rack up chips, pull 80-hour work weeks, clean your house until it sparkles, make money until your bank account looks like a phone number, but it's still management. You're still the one in control, and that control, my friend, is incredibly fragile.
Surrender is different. It's not giving up, it's a tactical drop of the ego. It's that moment you finally declare, I cannot outwork this trauma. I cannot out-earn this pain. I cannot out-clean this emptiness. It's when you stop trying to be the hero of your own story and admit you're broken, desperately needing grace, not a cleaner garage.
Matthew 11:28-30 is the ultimate invitation. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. True rest doesn't come from managing harder. It comes from surrendering the management to the one who can actually carry the weight.
As the imitation of Christ says, count yourself for nothing. To defeat the stronghold, you have to stop trying to be your own savior and surrender to the fact that you need the king. When you do that, the spirit loses its legal ground. The portal slams shut, the cravings fade. The identity that was tied to work, money, or routines untangles itself and gets tied to Christ alone.
That is freedom. That is healing. That's the only way out.
All right, here's the sledgehammer truth, the diagnostic test you need to be brutally honest about. What happens when you're forced to sit in a quiet room with no tasks, no tools, no distractions?
Does your skin start to crawl? Does your brain catch fire? Does that internal recorder immediately start playing all the old tapes? If so, you, my friend, are white-knuckling your life.
The challenge is simple but brutal. Leave something dirty. Leave a task undone. Sit in the discomfort of the quiet and actually face that internal noise instead of frantically running from it. True recovery doesn't look like a spotless life or a perfect bank account.
It looks like a life that can handle a little mess without having a complete nervous breakdown. The battle has already been won on the cross. Your job isn't to white-knuckle your way to holiness. Your job is to surrender to the one who already paid for it.
Saved by grace, not by luck. Stay surrendered, stay present, we'll keep digging.
If this conversation resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it.